Greetings, fellow historians. Welcome to the Forbidden Codex of History, where we delve into the hidden, obscure, and unresolved mysteries of the past, exploring forgotten civilizations, enigmatic artifacts, unsolved historical events, and so much more. Remember to hit the like button and subscribe. Now let's delve into today's mystery. What happened with the crystal skulls? The crystal skulls are enigmatic objects that have captured the imagination of people around the world. Purported to be ancient relics with mysterious powers, these skulls are often linked to Mesoamerican cultures, lost civilizations, and even extraterrestrial origins. While some see them as artifacts of profound spiritual and cultural significance, others view them as elaborate hoaxes or modern creations. The crystal skulls sit at the intersection of archaeology, mythology, and pseudoscience, making them one of the most intriguing and contentious topics in the study of ancient artifacts. In this exploration, we will delve into the origins of the crystal skulls, the myths and legends surrounding them, the competing theories about their authenticity and purpose, and the cultural significance they hold for different communities. We will also examine the scientific evidence and the role of modern fascination in perpetuating their mystique. By the end, we aim to provide a balanced perspective on this enduring mystery. Chapter 1. Origins of the Crystal Skulls. The origins of the crystal skulls are as mysterious as the objects themselves. Most of the famous crystal skulls surfaced in the 19th and early 20th centuries, often attributed to ancient Mesoamerican cultures such as the Maya or the Aztecs. However, there is little concrete evidence to support these claims, and the circumstances of their discovery remain murky at best. One of the earliest and most famous crystal skulls is the Mitchell-Hedges skull, allegedly discovered by Anna Mitchell-Hedges in 1924 during an archaeological expedition in Belize. According to her account, she found the skull buried beneath a collapsed altar in the ruins of Lubantun, an ancient Maya site. However, no records from the original expedition corroborate this story, and skeptics have pointed out that the skull's provenance is highly questionable. Research conducted by scholars such as Joe Nickel has revealed that F.A. Mitchell-Hedges likely purchased the skull at a Sotheby's auction in London. Additional scrutiny of this account shows discrepancies in Anna's timeline and F.A. Mitchell-Hedges' propensity for embellishment, further casting doubt on its discovery story. Other notable crystal skulls include the British Museum skull, the Paris skull, and the Smithsonian skull. The British Museum skull was acquired from Tiffany & Company in 1897 and is carved from a single piece of quartz. Similarly, the Paris skull, housed in the Musée de l'Homme, shares characteristics with the British Museum skull. The Smithsonian skull, donated to the Smithsonian Institution in 1992, is less refined in craftsmanship. Each of these objects has been linked to ancient Mesoamerican sites, but their authenticity has been called into question due to a lack of reliable documentation. Records show that many of these skulls surfaced in Europe through art dealers who catered to the growing interest in Mesoamerican antiquities in the late 19th century. Archaeological evidence does not support the notion that crystal skulls were part of Mesoamerican culture. While carved skull motifs are common in Maya and Aztec art, they were typically made of stone, bone, or ceramic, not quartz crystal. Detailed analyses of the skulls, including studies by Dr. Jane Walsh of the Smithsonian Institution, suggest they were likely created using modern tools. Tool marks, consistent with rotary wheels, and other modern techniques further undermine claims of their antiquity. The quartz material used in the skulls often originated from Brazil or Madagascar, regions outside the Mesoamerican sphere, raising additional questions about their origins. Additionally, microscopic analysis has revealed traces of abrasives that were not available to pre-Columbian artisans, indicating the use of contemporary industrial methods. The first documented references to crystal skulls emerged during the mid-19th century, a time when European fascination with the exotic was at its peak. This period saw a surge in interest in Mesoamerican artifacts following the publication of John Lloyd Stevens' accounts of his travels in Central America and Frederick Catherwood's detailed illustrations of Maya ruins. Collectors and museums sought artifacts that evoked the mystery and grandeur of these ancient civilizations, creating a lucrative market for antiquities dealers. Crystal skulls, with their intricate craftsmanship and eerie beauty, became highly desirable objects. However, many of these dealers operated with little oversight, and the provenance of the items they sold was often fabricated or obscured. Another factor contributing to the emergence of crystal skulls is the European tradition of memento mori art, which uses skull imagery as a symbol of mortality and the transience of life. This aesthetic influence may have inspired artisans to create crystal skulls as decorative or symbolic objects, blending contemporary tastes with the allure of ancient cultures. Recent investigations into the origins of the crystal skulls have also explored the possibility of their creation in workshops in Germany, particularly in Idar-Oberstein, a region renowned for its skilled gemstone carvers. During the 19th and early 20th centuries, Idar-Oberstein artisans were known for their ability to produce intricate carvings from quartz and other materials. Studies by researchers such as Dr. Andrew Rankin have suggested that some of the crystal skulls may have been produced in these workshops and later passed off as ancient artifacts. In summary, the origins of the crystal skulls are a complex interplay of cultural fascination, artistic craftsmanship, and opportunistic marketing. While they continue to be associated with ancient Mesoamerican cultures in popular imagination, the evidence overwhelmingly points to their creation in the modern era. Their story serves as a cautionary tale about the challenges of verifying the authenticity of artifacts and the enduring appeal of the mysterious and the exotic. Chapter 2. Myths and Legends of the Crystal Skulls. The crystal skulls are surrounded by an intricate web of myths and legends, blending cultural narratives, pseudoscience, and the allure of the unknown. These stories have elevated the skulls from mere artifacts to objects of profound, mystical, and symbolic significance. The mythology surrounding crystal skulls often attributes them to ancient Mesoamerican civilizations, such as the Maya and the Aztecs. The Aztecs in particular had a fascination with skull imagery, as seen in the Tzompantli skull racks, and carvings of the skull deity Mictlantecutli, ruler of the underworld. These cultural artifacts laid the foundation for the association of crystal skulls with death, power, and spirituality. However, there is no evidence that these civilizations crafted or revered crystal skulls themselves. The modern myths surrounding the skulls gained traction in the 19th and early 20th centuries. These were periods of significant colonial expeditions and an increasing European fascination with ancient, lost civilizations. Collectors and dealers often embellished the origins of artifacts to enhance their allure and market value. The crystal skulls became wrapped in narratives of mysticism and the supernatural, appealing to the public's imagination and a growing interest in the esoteric. One of the most enduring myths about the crystal skulls is the story of the 13 skulls. According to this legend, 13 crystal skulls exist, each holding a fragment of ancient wisdom or power. When brought together, these skulls are said to unlock the secrets of humanity's past, present, and future, or prevent a global catastrophe. This tale often references Native American or Mesoamerican traditions, though it has no basis in authentic indigenous mythology. The origins of the 13 Skulls legend can be traced back to the 1980s and 1990s, when it was popularized by spiritual authors such as Joshua Shapiro and Nick Nocerino. Nocerino, who founded the Crystal Skull Society International, claimed to have psychic connections to the skulls and argued that they were ancient repositories of knowledge. Shapiro expanded on these ideas, blending them with New Age beliefs about extraterrestrial contact and global enlightenment. Despite its popularity, the 13 Skulls legend is widely regarded as a modern fabrication. Indigenous leaders, such as those from the Maya communities, have disavowed the narrative, emphasizing that it has no roots in their cultural traditions. The crystal skulls have also been linked to extraterrestrial theories, often suggesting that they were gifts from advanced alien civilizations. Proponents of these ideas point to the skull's precision craftsmanship as evidence of otherworldly origins, arguing that ancient humans lacked the technology to create such intricate objects. Erich von Däniken's book, Chariots of the Gods, 1968, was instrumental in connecting the crystal skulls to ancient astronaut theories. Von Däniken argued that extraterrestrial beings visited Earth in antiquity, sharing their knowledge with early humans. The crystal skulls in this framework were seen as physical remnants of these encounters. Another significant contribution to the extraterrestrial mythos came from Frank Dorland, a researcher who studied the Mitchell-Hedges skull in the 1970s. Dorland claimed that the skull contained optical properties that defied modern understanding, further fueling speculation about its origins. However, subsequent studies have debunked many of Dorland's assertions, showing that the skull's features were consistent with modern carving techniques. In New Age circles, the crystal skulls are often associated with healing, psychic abilities, and spiritual enlightenment. Believers claim that the skulls emit energy fields that can heal physical ailments, enhance meditation, and connect individuals to higher consciousness. Some have reported experiencing visions or telepathic communication when in the presence of a crystal skull. Authors such as Drunvalo Melchizedek and Shirley MacLaine have written extensively about the spiritual significance of crystal skulls, incorporating them into broader frameworks of esoteric beliefs. These narratives often link the skulls to ancient wisdom traditions, sacred geometry, and the Akashic records, a supposed universal database of all knowledge. Critics, including scientists and archaeologists, argue that these claims lack empirical evidence and are rooted in subjective experiences rather than verifiable phenomena. Nonetheless, the belief in the skull's mystical properties continues to attract followers, particularly in the New Age and alternative spirituality communities. The myths of the crystal skulls have been further popularized through films, books, and television series. One of the most notable examples is the 2008 film Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which portrayed the skulls as alien artifacts linked to a powerful ancient civilization. While the film took significant creative liberties, it reignited public interest in the crystal skulls and introduced them to a new generation. Television programs like Ancient Aliens and documentaries on paranormal phenomena have also played a role in perpetuating the myths. These media portrayals often blur the line between fact and fiction, emphasizing the skull's enigmatic nature while downplaying the scientific evidence that challenges their authenticity. One of the more contentious aspects of the crystal skull's mythology is the misrepresentation of indigenous cultures. By attributing mystical properties and fantastical origins to the skulls, modern narratives often erase or distort the rich traditions of Mesoamerican and Native American peoples. Indigenous leaders and scholars have criticized these portrayals, arguing that they perpetuate stereotypes and undermine the authenticity of their cultural heritage. For example, Maya leaders have expressed frustration with the way crystal skulls have been used to commercialize their culture, often without their consent or involvement. Efforts to educate the public about authentic Maya history and spirituality have sought to counterbalance these misrepresentations. What's your favorite myth or legend related to the crystal skulls? Let us know in the comments down below. Chapter 3. Theories and Scientific Investigations. The crystal skull's enigmatic nature has prompted a wide range of theories about their origins, purpose, and authenticity. Over the decades, scientists, historians, and enthusiasts have sought to unravel the truth behind these mysterious artifacts, employing everything from traditional archaeological methods to advanced scientific tools. The theories surrounding the crystal skulls can broadly be categorized into three groups. Ancient Mesoamerican artifacts. This theory suggests that the skulls were crafted by ancient Mesoamerican civilizations, such as the Maya or Aztecs. Proponents point to the cultural significance of skull imagery in these societies, particularly in rituals and art. The Aztecs, for instance, often depicted skulls in stone carvings, and the Maya used skeletal motifs in their ceremonial architecture. However, there is no direct archaeological evidence linking crystal skulls to pre-Columbian contexts. Excavations of Maya and Aztec sites have yielded countless artifacts, but none of them include objects resembling the crystal skulls. Critics argue that the lack of provenance for these items undermines the claim that they are authentic relics of these ancient cultures. European creations. Another prevalent theory posits that the crystal skulls are 19th century creations, made in Europe to satisfy the demand for exotic artifacts. As mentioned in Chapter 1, the workshops of Ida Oberstein in Germany are often cited as possible sources for the skulls. These workshops were known for their advanced gemstone carving techniques, and records indicate that European artisans were capable of producing highly intricate quartz carvings by the mid-19th century. Scholars such as Dr. Andrew Rankin and Dr. Jane Walsh have extensively studied the tool marks on the crystal skulls, noting that many of them bear traces of modern rotary tools rather than the hand-carving methods used by pre-Columbian artisans. Extraterrestrial or supernatural origins. In the realm of speculative and pseudoscientific theories, the crystal skulls are often attributed to extraterrestrial beings or advanced lost civilizations, such as Atlantis. Advocates of these ideas point to the skulls' seemingly perfect craftsmanship and their association with mystical properties as evidence of otherworldly origins. Authors such as Erich von Däniken, Chariots of the Gods, and Frank Joseph, The Lost Civilization of Lemuria, have popularized the notion that the skulls were created with technologies far beyond the capabilities of ancient humans. However, these claims are widely dismissed by the scientific community due to their lack of empirical support. Scientific investigations into the crystal skulls. Material analysis. One of the first steps in studying the crystal skulls was to determine the origin of the quartz material used in their construction. Studies have shown that the quartz in many of the skulls comes from regions such as Brazil and Madagascar, which were not sources of materials for ancient Mesoamerican artisans. For example, the Mitchell-Hedges skull was found to contain clear quartz with inclusions characteristic of Brazilian mines. Similarly, the British Museum skull and the Smithsonian skull were analyzed and found to be made from quartz that could not have been sourced locally by the Maya or Aztecs. Tool mark analysis. Under microscopic examination, the crystal skulls reveal tool marks consistent with modern carving techniques. Dr. Jane Walsh of the Smithsonian Institution conducted detailed studies of the Smithsonian skull, discovering traces of rotary wheels and abrasive compounds that were unavailable to pre-Columbian cultures. These findings suggest that the skulls were created using industrial methods, likely in the 19th or 20th century. In contrast, genuine Mesoamerican carvings exhibit marks left by hand tools, such as flint or obsidian. The absence of such marks on the crystal skulls further undermines their purported ancient origins. Optical and structural studies. The optical properties of the crystal skulls have also been a subject of fascination. Researchers have studied the refractive indices, internal flaws, and carving methods of the skulls to understand how they were crafted. In some cases, the skulls contain features such as lenses or prisms that could create intriguing light effects, fueling speculation about their mystical properties. However, these features are not unique to the crystal skulls and can be explained as the result of skilled craftsmanship rather than advanced or supernatural technology. Radiocarbon dating and contextual evidence. While quartz cannot be radiocarbon dated, researchers have attempted to determine the age of the crystal skulls by analyzing the archaeological context in which they were allegedly found. In most cases, the lack of credible excavation records has made it impossible to establish a reliable timeline for the artifacts. The Smithsonian skull, for example, was donated without any documentation of its provenance, making it difficult to trace its origins. The Mitchell-Hedges skull's supposed discovery in Lubantun has been similarly discredited due to inconsistencies in the accounts provided by F.A. Mitchell-Hedges and his daughter. 5. Microscopic analysis. Dr. Jane Walsh of the Smithsonian Institution has been a leading figure in the scientific study of the crystal skulls. Her team conducted detailed microscopic examinations of several famous skulls, including the Smithsonian skull and the British Museum skull. These analyses revealed evidence of modern tool marks, such as fine grooves and rotary polishing techniques, which were not available to pre-Columbian artisans. One key finding was the presence of high-speed rotary wheel marks, indicating the use of tools developed during the Industrial Revolution. This evidence strongly suggests that the skulls were crafted in the 19th or early 20th century rather than in ancient times. Walsh's work highlights the importance of applying rigorous scientific methods to artifacts that have long been shrouded in myth. Material sourcing and isotopic analysis. Studies of the quartz used to create the skulls have further debunked claims of their Mesoamerican origins. Isotopic analysis has shown that the quartz in many of the skulls likely came from Brazil or Madagascar, regions far outside the geographical reach of ancient Mesoamerican civilizations. This evidence aligns with historical records of 19th century gemstone trade routes, particularly those involving European workshops. Researchers like Dr. Andrew Rankin have argued that the material sourcing is a critical piece of evidence linking the skulls to modern craftsmanship. 7th. Toolmark residue analysis. Using advanced techniques like X-ray diffraction and electron microscopy, scientists have identified residues of modern abrasives, such as silicon carbide and diamond powder, on the surface of the skulls. These substances were not available until the 19th century, further supporting the conclusion that the skulls are not ancient. Such studies have been pivotal in establishing a timeline for the skull's creation, allowing researchers to place them within the context of industrial advances in gemstone carving. 8. Fluorescence. Spectroscopy. Fluorescence spectroscopy has been employed to study the molecular composition of the skulls and to detect potential traces of ancient usage. However, no evidence of residues such as ceremonial oils, pigments, or other substances commonly associated with pre-Columbian rituals has been found. This absence of contextual evidence undermines claims that the skulls were used in ancient religious or ceremonial practices. Experimental archaeology has played a key role in debunking the notion that the crystal skulls could have been created using ancient tools. Researchers have attempted to replicate the skulls using techniques available to Mesoamerican artisans, such as hand carving with obsidian tools and polishing with sand. These experiments have shown that it would be nearly impossible to achieve the level of precision seen in the crystal skulls without modern equipment. One such study, conducted by Dr. Ronald Hatfield, demonstrated that replicating even a small portion of a crystal skull with ancient methods would take years of meticulous labor and would lack the fine detailing characteristic of the known skulls. This finding underscores the technological limitations of ancient artisans and the likelihood that the skulls were created with industrial tools. Advancements in digital imaging and 3D reconstruction have provided new ways to analyze the crystal skulls without causing damage. These techniques allow researchers to study internal features, such as drill holes and carve-in patterns, in unprecedented detail. One notable project, led by Dr. Marcos Martinon Torres, used 3D scanning to examine the internal structure of the British Museum skull. The scans revealed inconsistencies in the carving process that are consistent with modern manufacturing methods, such as the use of lathes and other mechanized tools. These findings add to the growing body of evidence that the skulls are modern creations. The Smithsonian Institution's approach to studying the Smithsonian skull has been a model of scientific rigor. Dr. Walsh and her team have not only conducted physical analyses, but also investigated the artifact's provenance and historical context. The Smithsonian has been transparent about its findings, openly acknowledging the skull's likely 19th century origins. This reassessment has helped shift the narrative around the crystal skulls, moving the focus from their purported ancient origins to their role as artifacts of modern fascination and artistic ingenuity. While scientific investigations have debunked many myths surrounding the crystal skulls, they have also highlighted the challenges of studying objects with ambiguous origins. For example, while tool marks and material sourcing provide strong evidence of modern craftsmanship, the exact workshops or individuals responsible for creating the skulls remain unknown. Additionally, the lack of contextual archaeological evidence, such as the absence of crystal skulls in documented excavations, raises questions about how these artifacts became associated with Mesoamerican cultures in the first place. Some researchers, like Dr. David Hurst Thomas, have suggested that this association was largely a product of 19th century marketing and the public's fascination with exotic artifacts. Chapter 4. Cultural Significance and Modern Fascination. The crystal skulls occupy a unique place in modern culture, bridging ancient traditions, New Age spirituality, and popular media. Their cultural significance stems not only from their purported ancient origins, but also from the mystique and wonder they inspire. In this chapter, we explore how these enigmatic artifacts have been embraced, reinterpreted, and celebrated in various contexts. The spiritual and mystical appeal, New Age beliefs, The crystal skulls have become powerful symbols in New Age spirituality, where they are often attributed with metaphysical properties. Believers claim that the skulls possess healing energies, enhance psychic abilities, and serve as conduits to other realms. These ideas have been popularized by figures like Joshua Shapiro, a self-proclaimed crystal skull explorer, who has written extensively about their spiritual significance. According to Shapiro and other enthusiasts, the skulls are not just artifacts, but living objects imbued with ancient wisdom. Some New Age practitioners suggest that the skulls were created by advanced civilizations, possibly extraterrestrial, to store and transmit knowledge. This belief is often tied to the idea of a global spiritual awakening, with the skulls playing a key role in humanity's journey toward enlightenment. Crystal healing practices. In alternative medicine, quartz crystal is believed to have energetic properties that promote physical and emotional well-being. The crystal skulls, by extension, are thought to amplify these effects. Practitioners use the skulls in meditation, energy work, and healing rituals, claiming that they can balance chakras, remove negative energy, and facilitate communication with higher consciousness. While these practices lack scientific validation, they have contributed to the crystal skull's enduring allure in spiritual and wellness communities. Symbolism in popular culture, media, and entertainment. The crystal skulls have been a recurring motif in popular culture, where they are often portrayed as mysterious and powerful relics. One of the most famous examples is the film Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, 2008, which ties the skulls to extraterrestrial beings and ancient mysteries. This film, though fictional, reflects broader public fascination with the skulls and their perceived connection to lost knowledge and otherworldly forces. Similarly, the skulls have appeared in television shows, novels, and video games, further embedding them in the cultural imagination. Artistic inspiration. Artists and designers have drawn on the crystal skulls as a source of inspiration, creating works that explore themes of mortality, spirituality, and the interplay between ancient and modern worlds. From sculptures to jewelry, the skull's aesthetic appeal has made them a popular subject in contemporary art. Controversies and debates. Ethical concerns. The sale and display of crystal skulls raise ethical questions about the commodification of cultural heritage. Critics argue that presenting these objects as ancient artifacts without sufficient evidence perpetuates misconceptions about Mesoamerican cultures and exploits public fascination for profit. Museums and collectors have faced scrutiny for their role in promoting the skull's mystique, with some institutions opting to reclassify them as modern creations. The British Museum, for example, has updated its interpretation of the British Museum skull, acknowledging its likely 19th century origins. Skepticism and debunking efforts. While the crystal skulls have captivated millions, skeptics have worked tirelessly to debunk the myths surrounding them. Researchers like Dr. Jane Walsh have emphasized the importance of scientific analysis in distinguishing fact from fiction, urging the public to approach these objects with a critical eye. Community and cultural impact. Indigenous perspectives. While the crystal skulls are often linked to Mesoamerican cultures, their significance to modern indigenous communities is complex. Some indigenous groups view the skulls as symbols of their cultural heritage, while others dismiss them as inauthentic. The commodification of the skulls has sparked debates about the appropriation and misrepresentation of indigenous traditions. Efforts to engage indigenous voices in the interpretation of the skulls have highlighted the need for more inclusive approaches to cultural heritage. Scholars and activists have called for greater respect for the beliefs and practices of the communities that inspired the skull's design. Public engagement and tourism. The crystal skulls have become popular attractions in museums and exhibitions, drawing visitors eager to learn more about their history and mysteries. These events often feature interactive displays, lectures and workshops, blending education with entertainment. In some cases, the skulls have inspired broader interest in Mesoamerican cultures, encouraging audiences to explore the rich history and achievements of the Maya, Aztecs, and other civilizations. Conclusion. The enduring mystery of the crystal skulls. The crystal skulls, whether ancient artifacts or modern creations, occupy a unique place in the intersection of archaeology, mythology, and popular culture. They represent not just a puzzle of craftsmanship and authenticity, but a reflection of humanity's enduring fascination with the unknown. The story of the crystal skull serves as a microcosm of a larger tension in the study of history and archaeology, the conflict between evidence-based inquiry and speculative narratives. On one hand, rigorous scientific methods have provided compelling evidence that the crystal skulls are products of the modern era. On the other hand, the persistence of myths and legends surrounding them speaks to a deeper psychological need to believe in the extraordinary. This tension raises fundamental questions about how we interpret the past. Are artifacts valuable only for their authenticity, or do they hold intrinsic meaning as objects of human fascination? The crystal skulls, regardless of their origins, have sparked debates, inspired stories, and drawn attention to the broader cultural significance of ancient Mesoamerican civilizations. The crystal skulls also highlight the evolving role of archaeology and science in addressing historical mysteries. Early collectors and museums, driven by the allure of exotic artifacts, often lacked the tools or the inclination to verify the authenticity of objects. Today, advancements in technology, such as isotopic analysis and digital imaging, allow researchers to scrutinize artifacts with unprecedented precision. Yet even as these tools provide answers, they also reveal the limitations of our understanding. The absence of definitive records or contextual evidence leaves room for alternative interpretations and ongoing debates. The case of the crystal skulls demonstrates that archaeology is not just about uncovering artifacts, but about constructing narratives that integrate scientific data, historical context, and cultural meaning. Despite extensive research, many questions about the crystal skulls remain unanswered. Who were the artisans who created the skulls? And what inspired their craftsmanship? How did these objects become associated with ancient Mesoamerican cultures, despite the lack of evidence? What accounts for their enduring appeal in popular culture, even after their debunking by scientific investigations? These questions invite further exploration, not just by scientists and historians, but by artists, writers, and thinkers who continue to draw inspiration from these enigmatic objects. Ultimately, the story of the crystal skulls is as much about us as it is about the objects themselves. Their allure lies in their ability to ignite our imagination, to make us question what we know and yearn for what lies beyond our grasp. They remind us that history is not just a collection of facts, but a tapestry of stories woven from the threads of evidence, myth, and interpretation. As we conclude this exploration, we are left with a deeper appreciation for the complexities of human history and the power of mystery to captivate our minds. The crystal skulls, whether ancient relics or modern creations, will continue to intrigue, inspire, and challenge us, standing as symbols of the human quest for knowledge and wonder. In the end, perhaps the greatest mystery is not the skulls themselves, but the enduring capacity of humanity to find meaning in the unknown. And thus, the mystery goes on. Thank you for listening. If you liked this, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Don't forget to watch that recommended video for you for more mysteries to uncover. We shall see you in our next session of The Forbidden Codex of History.